CM Punk is back. It's official. He's back to WWE after almost 10 years away from the company. CM Punk has returned in what is already the most liked Twitter post in WWE history. The video of him returning in Cult of Personality, an absolute banger, hitting in Chicago at Survivor Series 2023, and it's absolutely incredible. Completely shocked that this is what's happening, and this is how I would book CM Punk in WWE. Right now, we're going to look at all the way till WrestleMania. That's the plan. That's as far as I'm going to book. If you'd like to see me book farther than that, you should let me know down in the comments. I'm really making this video for my guys, Aiden and Dalton. So if you're Aiden and Dalton, just text me and tell me if you want me to do more, because I can try to expand more of the booking. But I'm just going to do the next about 6 months-ish of how I would book CM Punk. The important thing with Punk to look at is, what is he exactly good at? I think he's a really interesting wrestler because he's very unique in the fact that most guys don't gain popularity with the more and more animosity and bad rep that he gets. But for some reason, the longer he's away from wrestling and the more and more reports you hear, kind of grows the legend of CM Punk. Different wrestlers saying, oh, I can't work with Punk. I can't do it. You know, he's an egotistical maniac. It feeds into the whole Cult of Personality character he's made for himself. We get a really interesting thing in our hands here of CM Punk's character. And that's one of the biggest things I thought about when thinking of this booking. No matter what you do with Punk, he will always be face to some people. You can't ever make full heel Punk unless you've really worked it over the time, like a long period of time. So that's what's going to be important, keeping in mind here with the booking of Punk. Now, we got to think about what wrestler would work best with Punk, because you got to think of somebody that can also balance the fact that he can't really be a pure heel. And I don't ever think he's really a pure face either. There's always going to be some animosity around him. And I think the perfect guy, and we saw him flipping out when Punk came back at Survivor Series, whether it's a work or not, we're doing Seth Rollins. I think it's the perfect matchup. He's currently World Heavyweight Champion. Rollins is probably the best in-ring worker WWE has, potentially in the entire wrestling industry. I love you, Kenny Omega. Rollins is definitely going to be the right pick here. Tonight, on Monday Night Raw, CM Punk is coming out and speaking. It's already been announced. This is like a real thing. This is not part of the booking. So basically, as soon as I drop this booking, it is going to instantly be obsolete, and so you're living a little fantasy world if you're watching this, which, if so, I appreciate. Tonight on Raw, I was booking. I would have CM Punk come out. Everybody's clapping, cheering. They're going to chant his name, CM Punk, CM Punk. And I expect him to say something along the lines of, well, my booking, I'd have him say, I'm back. People are going to cheer, go crazy. He says, the best in the world is back. Everyone continues to cheer. He's like, I've been gone a long time. Lots changed. A lot of it's still the same. There's still guys on top that shouldn't be there and guys that know they're not better than me. So I'm back, and I'm done with being quiet. I'm done with being silent. I'm done with sitting on WWE backstage and having to hide my opinions away. I'm here to prove what I've always known, that I'm the best in the world and that nobody is. Then Rollins' theme hits. Rollins comes out. I really shouldn't do a Rollins impression. Nah, not doing a Rollins impression. Rollins comes out. He's like, best in the world? We got the best fans in the world. We got the best product in the world. And I get some cheers for that. Very pure babyface work from Rollins. And yet, where were you? While you were gone, and while the Shield and everyone in it has grown up, give Dean Ambrose some props, right? You know, look at Roman Reigns. Look what he's done in your absence. Look at me. Look what I've done. I main evented WrestleMania and pulled off the greatest heist in WrestleMania history. I'm considered one of the top in the industry. You're a has-been who got carried over here by Triple H because he knew you could bring in some extra ratings. A little bit of shoot work, you know? Says, look, I'm not the only guy in that locker room who can't stand to be around you, but I'm the one who's going to step up and tell you. So get out of my ring and get off my show. The thing is that's interesting is that the audience isn't stupid. The audience knows that Seth Rollins and CM Punk might actually have some legitimate beef. So playing off that will make it interesting. It's a little bit of a work shoot, but CM Punk is the most famous work shoot in history with the pipe bomb. We might as well play off of that history. Rollins makes his point about the ratings. CM Punk looks around. He said, they're tuning in for me tonight. They're tuning in because they want to see CM Punk wrestle. So how about you get in this ring and we main event it? People start cheering. People want to see this match. People would love to see Seth Rollins versus CM Punk. The first night he's back, whew, I mean, that would be cinema. But we're not doing that. It's too good to give out on Monday Night Raw. We already said this, WrestleMania 40. You got to hold on, people. Rollins steps in the ring, stares him down. He says, I'm a champion. We wrestle when you've earned it. Immediately, CM Punk goes for the go to sleep, puts him in it, hits him with it. Fans go crazy. They've been waiting to see this. CM Punk does the thing with the arms, the X thing, you know. Fans are going wild. Everybody's cheering. CM Punk looks out. Theme song hits. He stares at Seth Rollins, shakes his head, walks out. Now here's the biggest thing I got to think about. Really, we have a brand split in WWE right now, but do we actually? Guys will show up on SmackDown, guys will show up on Raw. And should I think that CM Punk's working full-time or should I think part-time? What I'm going with right now is that he's going full-time WWE every week. So it really doesn't matter what show he shows up on, but I'm doing mostly Raw because I want him focused on Seth Rollins. I don't think he's the right guy to take the belt off Roman Reigns. I think they're pretty set on using Cody for that. I don't think he's the guy to beat Gunther. I don't even think Gunther should lose at this WrestleMania. I think he should take on Brock Lesnar and beat him, and we'll have Gunther lose down the line. Next week on Raw, Seth Rollins opens the show. I'm champion. I'm beloved. I am the king of this show. He goes, I don't appreciate when other guys come on and disrespect what I've made here. I understand you all love that guy. You all think he's the best. But you gotta look at it from my perspective. I've been working hard here. I've been working for years. And he gets to hop in and think he's at the top of the line. No, not in my show. Look in my... Punk comes out. We doing this again. We're cutting promos back and forth again. How about we stop being sissies and we start fighting each other? That's what people came to see. I'm a fighter. Let's go. Runs in the ring. Boom. Immediately hits Rollins. The whole thing we're selling here is that Punk doesn't like to mess around. Punk's not here for all these games. And I think that fits really well with the CM Punk character. He's not here to play all the corporate business games. It fits perfectly with a guy who's just jumped companies. Immediately hits Rollins. They're going back and forth, hitting each other. Punk picks him up, go to sleep. Rollins goes to hit him with the curb stomp. Punk rolls out, gets up again, go to sleep again. He's making Rollins look a little weak, I understand. Then, Judgment Day theme hits. Judgment Day theme hits. In comes Damian Priest with the briefcase. We're doing it. We're having him cash in. This Punk versus Rollins match does not really need the belt. It really doesn't. We might as well do the cash in bit and get Judgment Day the belts. Because at some point, Damian Priest has to cash in. And if we're doing Rollins versus Punk at WrestleMania with the belt on the line, then it doesn't make any sense for Priest not to cash in at that point. So we're doing Priest cashing in now because Seth versus Punk doesn't need a belt. Priest gets in, cashes in. Punk stands there as Damian Priest pins Seth Rollins, holding up the belt. Punk looks at the belt and he stares at it. He wants that belt. And he looks at Rollins. He lets Priest walk away. Picks up the microphone, looks at Rollins, says, what happened to being to the top of the show? Drops the mic, walks out. So now, Punk is the reason Seth Rollins has lost the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. He's had a great run, lots of defenses. He's been defending in a ton of house shows, I know. So great work from Seth. But it's time for that belt to be at the Judgment Day, and we can work that Judgment Day storyline. Now let's move into the Royal Rumble. Now we've got about a month and a half from Survivor Series to the Royal Rumble. They don't have any show planned in between. As far as I look, there's no Day 1 this year, there's no Clash of Champions, there's no TLC, there's nothing in December or early January planned. Unless they come out of the blue and announce some PLE I'm not aware of, there's nothing. So my plan to make TV interesting until the Royal Rumble is to have Judgment Day infighting. Now that can set us up for a WrestleMania that has Damian Priest versus Dominic Mysterio. Priest turning face by having the belt. It's gonna be hard to do. Now this is CM Punk booking, not a Judgment Day booking, but I am saying whatever they want to do with the Judgment Day, I do think this WrestleMania should be the last Judgment Day WrestleMania, and Priest with that belt should be the reason they fall apart. And maybe you have Rhea Ripley lose at WrestleMania also, So then it's like everybody lost their belts. Or if you want to have Rhea Ripley retain, it's whatever. If you want to see me do a Judgment Day booking, that can be a separate video. If you're Dalton or Aiden, text me. And if you're new, just comment and let me know. So that'll be kind of the main storyline we're running. And on the other hand, Punk, I don't want to wrestle until WrestleMania. I understand he comes back and he hasn't wrestled for 6 months. I understand that. I understand. But we gotta wait for that big singles match till WrestleMania. Rollins should have a little bit of a miniature feud with the Judgment Day. Pissed that he lost the title match where it's him versus Priest, but then by shenanigans he loses. Maybe, like, you know what I mean? Something like that. Him and Punk haven't had another interaction on TV since him losing the title. What we keep doing with Punk is we just keep getting interviews of him being disappointed by the current crop of WWE talent. Just interviews and backstage. He's a great promo, like an excellent promo. So just let him cut promos about how disappointed he is. Let him be kind of a dick. Like, honestly, he's good at being a dick, and people will still cheer him. It's true. I mean, Rollins is kind of the same way, where Rollins can be really pompous ass, and people still cheer him. Punk can be kind of a dick, and people will still cheer him. So just let them both do that. At the Royal Rumble, we are down to the final 4. We have LA Knight, because I love LA Knight, and I want him to be the guy to dethrone Roman Reigns, even though I know it's going to be Cody Rhodes. Just let him be in the final 4. CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and then whatever member of Judgment Day they're having face Priest, whether it's Finn Balor or JD McDonagh or Dominic Mysterio. They do the thing where everybody's standing in a corner and they're all looking at each other like, oh, it's the last 4. Punk and Rollins are across from each other. They stare at each other and run right at each other. Immediately clothesline each other out. So they're both laying on the ground as LA Knight wrestles at a member of Judgment Day we're having win the Rumble. Punk and Rollins are both on the ground. They get up, Rollins super kicks him, Punk leans back on the ropes, runs into Rollins, pushing them both over the ropes, eliminating both of them. Rollins looks at Punk, furious by the fact he's been eliminated by him, and Punk just smiles. You know that Punk grin that, like, you know the one when he won the title from John Cena? That smile, that smirk, it's perfect. He doesn't care about the title. He wants to disrespect Seth Rollins. I mean, you can pull up, when they do the video package for WrestleMania, they can pull up the stuff from WWE backstage. They can pull up the interviews of Seth Rollins of him talking crap about CM Punk. There's all this stuff, this real world stuff that feeds into this feud. So now we shift our focus to Elimination Chamber. CM Punk gets an automatic bid into the #1 contenders match for Roman Reigns' WWE Undisputed Universal Championship. Rollins is very happy about that. He's getting CM Punk's handed the opportunity. He talks all this stuff about how these guys aren't good enough, yet he's being handed an opportunity. Now, why am I doing this? Well, first of all, I don't want Punk's first match to be a qualifying match for the Elimination Chamber. Second off, there is some truth to that. You know, we're playing off the fact that getting Punk was a huge signing for WWE, and naturally Triple H and everybody in the back is going to want to push him. And Rollins paying, like, the booking reflecting the fact that he is getting handed some stuff, I think really isn't that bad of a move. We're playing off the fact that both Rollins and Punk, neither of them are full face here, but neither of them are full heel. The audience is going to have a bit of a tough time deciding who to cheer for. And if they decide to cheer for Rollins, that's fine. If they decide to cheer for Punk, that's fine too. Neither one of these guys are full heel, full baby face. 95% of the time, I believe that you got to have pretty clear face heel. This is one of the few exceptions, I think, for Punk's first rivalry back that I don't think we really need to. I think him and Rollins are both good enough character guys that they can balance both being tweeners. So Punk is handed an opportunity to be in this match. The other 5 guys, Randall Keith Orton, why not? Give an opportunity. LA Knight again. What I would be setting up right now is LA Knight versus Logan Paul for the US title. I think that would be a great Mania match for LA Knight, but he's going to get one more opportunity to face Roman Reigns, but he will not be winning this match. The guy winning this match will be Cody Rhodes. He's obviously going to win this and go on to finish the story against Roman Reigns. As much as I would like for it to be LA Knight throwing Roman Reigns, I think it's kind of set that it's going to be Cody, so I just got to accept it. Drew McIntyre, because he's awesome and I love him, and he should have a really good Mania feud. I'm not sure who it should be yet. I'll think on it. And of course, Seth Rollins. Rollins eliminates CM Punk in the match. First one eliminated, CM Punk. As soon as Rollins gets clocked in, countdown, boom, goes right to Punk, doesn't even look at anybody else, beats the tar out of him into the cage, just slamming him into the cage, curb stomp into the cage floor, all that. Yes, everybody understands what's happening. This is a blood feud. These guys hate each other. He pins CM Punk, kicks out, throws him against the cage, curb stomp again, pins him, kicks out, throws him into the cage, slamming his head against it. Can we do a spot where he puts him through the glass? I'd love it. After he puts him through the glass, pins him, 1, 2, 3. Punk is eliminated. Rollins is standing there completely shot from all the effort it took to eliminate Punk. RKO out of nowhere, pin, 1, 2, 3, Randall Keith. You know, the whole thing, it writes itself. So now, Punk eliminated Rollins and himself from the Royal Rumble, and Rollins eliminated Punk and kind of himself in the Elimination Chamber. I think it's kind of poetic. We've got these two guys that hate each other so much, they don't care about the title anymore. And that is what we're selling into WrestleMania. The week after Elimination Chamber, Seth Rollins comes out, and he's like, look, you say you don't like playing games, Punk, and yet you haven't challenged me to a match at WrestleMania yet. We know what the people want. You know what I want. I know what you want. Let's stop playing around and let's look in my cult of personality. I guess the song doesn't really start like that. It goes like CM Punk comes out, microphone in hand, that same grin he gave when he eliminated Seth Rollins and himself from the Royal Rumble. I thought you'd never ask. CM Punk versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 40. I honestly think it should be the night one main event. I understand the fact that we have a World Heavyweight Championship match that's going to have Judgment Day, pretty much Fallout in it. I understand whatever match Rhea Ripley has is going to be money, and that could be a night one main event, but I honestly think CM Punk, first match back in WWE in over a decade. Like his first singles match in over a decade. I mean, the Elimination Chamber match and the Royal Rumble match, he's wrestled in those two, but really those weren't a pure match. I would love to make it no holds barred, but I think because it's Punk's first match back, you have to go clean singles straight up. As far as the weeks leading up to WrestleMania, I would run a promo package every week. The first week, we do the backstage Punk when he talked about Rollins, and Rollins in real life talking about how he doesn't like CM Punk. Week after that, we do all the stuff with the Shield. And then the third week, we show footage of when Punk returned and Rollins and all that being held back and just looking pissed at Survivor Series 2023. And that's the same night that they come out and do a contract signing. I don't always love contract signing things. They're really just an excuse for somebody to get thrown through a table. But I honestly think this is one of the few times it could work greatly. I say you just give the guys 15 minutes, let them go. I feel like they could just cook. I know that's not the most booking of me. It's not the best, like, here's how I would book. I mean, I get that. But I honestly think they could put out heat. I guarantee Rollins takes some shot at AEW. I know CM Punk would love to say something like, look, Seth, I know you're big pals with your buddy Triple H, but you gotta understand, Vince is gone. Sucking up to people in the back doesn't work anymore. That would be cold-hearted, and that would really be something. So I think he would love to do that. All right, we are at Philadelphia, WrestleMania 40, Punk versus Rollins, the main event of night one. We should go 20 minutes, maybe 25. I want some big moves. Like I said, kind of like the promos. These are two of the best guys in the industry going at it. Punk can still go. Punk's still a great in-ring worker. And Rollins is like the best in-ring worker. So being with him is just going to elevate Punk. End the match. CM Punk hits the go to sleep. Rollins kicks out. Hits the go to sleep. 1, 2, 3. CM Punk has won his first singles match back in WWE. And he sits there, I think, arms up, the shot of the end of WrestleMania Night 1 with all of Philadelphia cheering. Because I do think they'll cheer either winner of this match. I think there's a better chance they cheer Punk, though. The fans do not want to see Punk lose his first match back. Him winning 10 years after WrestleMania 30, the WrestleMania he wasn't at, the first WrestleMania without Punk, is massive. And him standing there getting cheers as he just defeated one of the perennial top stars in the company makes a statement. And then he can move into who I think he should feud with next, fresh off a Judgment Day fall apart, Finn Balor. Be excellent. Give Finn some direction. After the Judgment Day falls apart, go right into a feud with CM Punk. I think over the next year, you can do a lot of things with Punk, but I realistically think Roman Reigns loses to Cody Rhodes in the main event of WrestleMania 40 Night 2, takes a break, disappears for a while. Let Roman go. Maybe he wants to make some more movies. He was in that Hobbs and Shaw movie. At the Royal Rumble in 2025, Roman Reigns returns and challenges CM Punk to a match at WrestleMania 41. Because you got to do it. I mean, you got to do it. You have to do it. It is so perfect. You get the guy that Vince loved for years. Now he's finally over, facing off against the guy that Vince hated. And that didn't even come back till after Vince was gone. It writes itself. Is that for the title? Probably not. I don't think so. People don't want to see Roman go for a title his first match back. Now, as far as Punk getting a title, I think after WrestleMania 41, maybe that's when you start. We're looking for him to get a world title. But really, a year just doing nothing but blood feuds, he could handle. I mean, you can have him be in the mix for a title, but I just think there's so many dream matches that need to go on. And then you get him a belt after WrestleMania 41. Maybe you look like Money in the Bank or SummerSlam 2025 range. You get him a belt, and you have a big reign then. But that's obviously a ways in the future. At that point, Braun Breaker might be a top guy on the main roster. All right, that is how I would book CM Punk in WWE. I think it sets you up for a lot of interesting storylines after, and obviously sets you up for that potential WrestleMania 41 matchup against Roman, which would be money. I have a podcast, the Sort of Sports Podcast. This is originally going to be an episode of my podcast, but I decided to upload it to this channel. I'm not sure what I'm going to do on this channel, but I thought I would try this out. So if you enjoyed this, consider stopping by my podcast. I talk about sports, mostly NFL, sometimes some wrestling, sometimes some NBA, a decent amount of MLB during season. And then I talk about movies and comic books and TV shows later in the episode. So if any of that sounds interesting, just open up an episode, go to the description, and I have timestamps on anything you want to listen to. So if you only really care to listen to the NFL, you can click on the timestamp. And if you only want to hear about the movies, comic books, TV shows, that's under usually movies. I'm trying to think of a better name to kind of encapsulate all the stuff I talk about there. So I hope you enjoy, and see you on the next one.